Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Chad Ritter. I'm based in Phoenix, Arizona. I've been an IFMA member for over 25 years. I'm closely involved with the IT community of IFMA, and I'm really looking forward to today's session, integrating Microsoft technologies for smarter facility management decisions. I think we've got some really good opportunities to learn from our subject matter expert today from Velocio, Amir Hermani. Amir is a seasoned professional with extensive experience in digital transformation, ERP solutions, and strategic technology consulting. As a leader in empowering organizations to optimize operations and drive growth, Amir specializes in helping businesses implement innovative solutions to overcome complex challenges. With a focus on delivering tangible results, Amir leverages his expertise in Microsoft Dynamics 365 and other leading-edge technologies to enable smarter, data-driven decisions across industries. My pleasure to introduce Amir.
Thanks, Ted. That was quite a good introduction about me. So let's go to the next slide. Let's talk about the organization Velocio. So Velocio is a leading Microsoft business application partner known for its expertise in cloud services tailored solutions. We specialize in industry-specific ERPs, CRM, data-driven analytics, and transformation initiatives. Our focus is on empowering mid-market and emerging enterprise businesses to achieve their goals through innovative technology and exceptional support. Velocio's deep understanding about industry and its commitment to helping business makes Velocio an ideal partner for organizations looking to navigate their digital transformation journey. Next slide, please. Now, what we're going to talk about here in today's session, we're going to cover the challenges of disconnected system. Then we're going to talk about how can we leverage technology for our operational excellence. What does it mean by seamless connected finance and operations? Then we're going to deep dive into a couple of success stories where Velocio, along with Microsoft, has implemented Microsoft technologies in order to achieve organization goals. Plus, we'll be showing you the future where Microsoft is heading towards. Then, if the time allows, we're going to jump into live Q&A sessions. Feel free to drop your questions as you go along. As the time permits, we'll be more than happy to answer in the flow. Next slide, please. Now, let's start with what are the challenges of disconnected systems? When I say systems, we are talking about different types of ERPs or softwares that are present in an organization. So there are the ones that we are pointing towards today. If we go to the next slide, the problems we are pointing out today are the leading and most evident problems that we have seen in our ERP implementations or transformation journey. Number one is the time-consuming reconciliations. So we have seen that when you use multiple ERP systems or softwares, you have a problem of reconciliations because they are not connected to each other. Such an example is employees are in HR system, whereas your timesheets are in some other system. You want to see employee availability calendar, which is in your field management system. So it gets difficult for the organization to get the data on a real-time basis. Plus, it's time-consuming to reconcile it as well. The second point is lack of real-time insights. As I said earlier, in this era, we want the data to be available on a real-time basis so that we can shift our strategy, we can work out for inconsistencies as quickly as possible. The classic example that we have seen is in DHL. So there was a case study back like 6-8 years back when DHL had a routing issue. So they were delivering packages and they had it takes time to deliver to the destinations that they were thinking of. So what they did, they got all the routes and all the destinations available in the system. And what they did on a real-time basis, looking at the data, they changed their strategy in such a way that they don't take any more left turns; they only take right turns. And as you know, that in US, in order to do a right turn, you don't have to stop on the red light. So they took the data, they made the decision on those routes where the efficiencies can be efficiencies can be achieved, and they implemented it as quickly as possible. The third point is inaccurate budget and timelines. It goes without saying that if you don't have the data, if you don't have connected systems that looks your operational and financial together, it, it makes more assumption-based forecasting. And when we go assumption-based forecasting, there is chances of human errors. There are chances of missing things out. Example, uh, change in interest rate. So if the interest rate changes, how my lending cost gonna look like? How much holding an inventory gonna look like? So we might miss out cost of goods sold and all other numbers that might be impacted because there's a human intervention to do it. Next one is inefficiencies in strategic decision making. So overall, all these lackings gonna impact our strategic decision making in the long run. How the organization see themselves in 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. They want to make sure they are moving towards their North Star. And if they are not, then they want to see those analytics, they want to see those data-driven outputs, those KPIs to find the right path. Difficult sales handoff. So the classic example that we in this industry see is my sales team who's uh, working on getting the deals, paid mostly on incentives, focused on getting the deals in for the organizations. But when they hand over to the delivery team, or when they hand over to the team who's building or managing the facility or whatnot, they are not connected together. So they just get the piece of paper, which is a contract, and based on that contract, they start working on it. Now, this new technologies that we are talking about works with CRM in the same manner end to end with delivery team. So starting from having meeting notes in CRM to recordings, if it's a virtual meeting, to have follow-ups, everything will be noted over there. And because it's a connected system, the facility manager can see how the lead got generated, who are the people who made the decision, where to go to, and why the contract has these special terms, what matters to them, and that can be focused more. And the last is data-backed planning. We want our historical data to be used in order to make better plans. There is a quote: if you torture the data, it can confess to anything. So you need data to make those BI reports, to make those KPIs, to have those results, and then based on those results, you can navigate and make strategic decisions moving forward. Next slide, please. Now, what have we seen? What have we seen as a unified system, and what are the benefits of those unified systems that we have seen in organizations? So organizations believe that the fully integrated system gives them 20% increase in operational efficiencies. So 20% is quite big. It means that enhanced visibility to financial and operational data. Now imagine you have a work order in your facility management, and that work order is tied to your vendor because a contractor is going to come to perform that activity for maintenance and whatnot, right? So you have a work order, your vendor management is connected, your resource connected, your spare parts connected. We are talking about many different softwares, working together, many different teams working together, employee booking as well. So your HR giving you who's your full-time, part-time, who's the contractors available, who has license to work on this machine. So it's all connected in one single system. Allows you not to do manual kind of jumping around in different softwares to figure out who's the right person and is he even available. So that operational connection and the visibility of operational data with financial data in one single system brings out the efficiency that we want. Improve collaboration between departments. So we use collaborative tools like Microsoft Teams, we use emails, but in this ERP business application world, there are better collaboration teams available. You can have your workflows for approvals. You can have FYIs sent to budget leaders. Department heads can know the inconsistency or big variations that's coming along, or expected cost that's going to come along, or a preventive maintenance, or end of life of a machine or an equipment. That allows them to give more insights early on and react to it. Reduce inefficiencies and redundancies, goes without saying, and better scalability and adaptability. So these ERPs are are using the up-to-date and the cutting-edge technologies. So we are hearing about AI, we are hearing about virtual reality, we are hearing about mixed reality. So those kind of things, if you opt into a better ecosystem, it allows you to have that advantage over others, where you are not stuck with your legacy system or legacy software, which is maintained by your team and done manually. Reduce administrative overhead and manual tasks allow teams to focus on strategic initiatives and value-driven activities. We have been hearing that a lot. Why this last year, this year, everyone is talking about AI agents and AI co-pilots, because we understand that there is a high value task and activities and a low value task and activities. We want to have those repetitive low value ticker items to be done through an automation or using AI, so that we focus and the organization focus more on the strategic initiatives. And the classic one that we have seen in last decade and decade before is in retail industry. A POS system that came, point of sale, we scan just the barcode while we are in the self-checkout in Walmart or any other retail organizations, retail industries. We just scan the barcode. It does your accounting entry. It does your stock changes. That's the power of automation, and that's what we need in something like that. We need in more facility management and other industries which are thriving on the people more. Next slide, please. Now, what we see over here, what we see over here is disconnected system and the data silos, how they are impacting. My facility management, facility managers are using CMMS or EMS, and they are connected to operational managers. So if you look over here, this is just the operational side of things that we see on the top left side. On the right hand side, we have maintenance department or maintenance team who's trying to collaborate with people, who's trying to make sure we have the right person based on the severity or based on the checklist, based on the skill set, and working on the CMMS software. We have tasks available for our preventive maintenance or reactive maintenance. We have to make sure that those are compliant with the industry standards. So the maintenance team is doing their side of job without knowing what's happening with the facility management and operational managers. And the way they connect together is through maybe emails, phones, or chat. So that's a classic gap where organization is bleeding and they want a connected route. so that they can see each other's work and they can respond to it as quickly as possible. Then there's finance, who's working on vendor management, contracts, contract payment, making sure that your contract says you have 13,000 hours of services available for a year, but maintenance team might not be aware about it, or maybe they are, but it's not evident over there in their system. So they can't see how they are consuming that contract. So we want to take the advantage of those other departments that gaining those information by spreading across the organization. And then there's accounts manager, who we spoke greatly about how the sales team delivers it to moves it to the delivery team. All right. In the next slide, we talk about how this can work together as one single system, single platform. So over here in this slide, I'm showing you, if you click next, please, you'll see that Microsoft Dynamics 365 is Microsoft provides an ecosystem or a platform. It's called Microsoft Dynamics 365. We call it BizApps, business applications. What it does, it combines all these siloed systems into one single experience. So our facility managers, our operational managers, our account managers, our vendor, our even execs, our CXOs, finance managers and maintenance teams all work in one single system. So that when HR hires a person, knowing that he's a contractor or maybe a full-time employee, a technician who has access to these 3 states and have license to work on these machineries, and they are renewing those licenses, then maintenance team can see those people, their availability as it comes along on a real-time basis. We want that collaboration, and that can only happen in one single platform. And that's where Microsoft comes in play. And Microsoft Dynamics 365 is what Microsoft has proposed in order to for this industry. Now, what are the things that are part of advanced facility management software? So we want to have visibility, collaboration, and insight to drive success across our operations. So these are some of those areas at a very high level that we think of. First one is asset management. Our building, room, floor, room, we want to go deep under whichever level we want it to. Site, warehouse, location, country. So what matters to us? We want to make sure that we have the asset information in our books. We have those details, we have insurances and all those details tied to it. Next is our maintenance schedule. How our maintenance schedule looks like. If it's preventive maintenance every 6 months, is it a preventive maintenance every 3 months, or it's a reactive maintenance whenever there's a fault that has been identified. Then there's resource allocation. We want to make sure we have the right resources in place for running those maintenance plans. And if we are short of skill, we want system to tell us that we are short of skill. We have these many work orders, but we don't have the capacity. So we can hire more or look for alternatives to get our contractors in place, our contracting technicians in place. Then there's team collaboration. And team collaboration is not just about messages. It's about using an app for the technician who can go in the app and update stuff. What are they observing? What is the reading? What is the calibration of that assessment? Then there's time and expense. So we want to make sure that we are capturing the time spent on each machine or time spent on doing an activity or a work order. and of course the expenses related to those ones. Having said that, those approvals, those workflows are also in place with all these things that I'm talking about. Then facility financials. I see that in organizations, when they are global organizations like in Canada, US, Mexico, or other places or Europe or other places of the world, they do struggle with getting the facility-wise breakdown of financials. They look at the nation level, but they want to see the breakdown and as easy as click through or drill down method. So that's where Microsoft technology gives you liberty to go as deep as you want to an individual item. And the last is business intelligence. I can't emphasize more. So BI was our last decade. We have been looking at BI and BI reports. So do remember, business intelligence talks about historical data. Now that we have gathered so much of data, we want to make sure that we use that data for our analytics to make it more efficient operation as possible. So BI is for historical data, and for predictive analysis and all those, I think AI is the one that we are leaning towards. So we want that data to help us predict or work on the future state and use AI better and train our AI better. We're going to deep dive into that in later slides. The next one. So what are the features? So we spoke about all the pillars. Now I'm going to deep dive into one of those features. And let's see and double click on asset management. So what is an asset management? Now these are the features that is available in Microsoft Dynamics 365. So if you look closely, it talks about acquire, manage, maintain, and retire. It covers the entire cycle, entire end-to-end cycle of an asset, the entire life of an asset. How do you acquire an asset? How can you capitalize it? So there's a building. I'm building a building that eventually becomes my asset. So I want to make sure that everything is going to my work in progress, and once it's done, I can capitalize it. People from finance joining in this call will relate to that way more. So how does transfer, revalue, split of assets can happen? Depreciation of asset, your derived books for financials. But when we jump into the managed side of things, what is the functional location of that asset? As I said, site, warehouse location, or in building area, building your flow and room number. So you can go as deep as you want in order to make sure you have the tracking visibility when you want to see the financials or operational activities and work orders and whatnot. Multi-level asset structure, your asset register, your 6 and 12 columnar, your spare parts control. There might be a lot of spare parts that requires replacement very quickly. There are expensive ones as well for calibration of manufacturing products or other items. You have to make sure you keep track of those spare parts, and based on the spare parts usability or the life, you have a plan when to replace it and when to repair it, even your maintenance schedules. And in the maintain side, you have your breakdown maintenance, preventive maintenance. You want system to tell you where and trigger that this is the preventive maintenance coming in three months time, and who's already assigned to it. And the assignment should be based on person who have access to, who's aware about this machinery or this area of expertise. They have the license, they have calendar availability, they have the training done. So you can have those prerequisites defined as well. Your fault management. So people who are technicians will understand that way more, that for every fault there is a checklist as well. So if you have an example, your car breaks down, and you have an engine problem, there's a checklist to follow it around. You have drywall repair or something, there's a checklist that you go with, making sure that it doesn't damages the other side of things. Then your budget and control, your schedule board. This is very very common. I've seen that in the uh, the pipelines and the utility sector a lot. They have a schedule board where in the work order they push the work order, what are in progress, what are the ones that are completed, who's assigned to it, what are the deep dive checklist that needs to be done. If it's collaboration between multiple people, I want to assign it to them so that it's in their calendar on their phone, so that they can work on it, and we have an expected date, deadlines and priorities set to it. Your work execution logs, your asset history, your maintenance record, and last but not the least, at the time of retirement, how do you dispose the asset? What is the reporting that you want to do for that disposal? Is it a gain? Is it a loss? Or is it something that you're gonna reuse it? So this is just one side of things, which is the asset management, but it touches a lot of things, and in each of these, there's many variables. So you're not getting into just few features. As I said, working with an ERP which is connected, it just brings a lot of wealth of features in it. Plus, it gives you a liberty to pick and choose which one relates to you. So if there are few things, few KPIs, or few items or features that doesn't relate to you at all, you don't have to. It's optional. But as the organization expands and grows, they want the liberty to have multiple features so that they can absorb the ones that's going to help them get more efficient. Next one. So in this slide, we're going to talk about what are the key benefits in facility management that we have seen commonly. So real-time insights, we covered that in greater depth before. Your streamlined processes, so automate workflows and improved efficiencies. So previously, we used to see a lot, and even right now, there's plenty of like budgets, forecasts, your sales hurdle meetings, right? You have your daily maintenance calls or stand-up calls in the morning with your head technicians. So there are things that you can automate, like if you get a work order which is assigned to a resource, you want the system to automatically check that does that resource, number one, is available, number two, has the right skill set, number three, has the required certifications or licenses to work on that product or that machine or on that item. Number four is you need to make sure that there is a spare part available and can be reserved. And then, last but not the least, is it in their calendar? You have booked the time or not. If these are the things that you want to check before assigning it to someone, then you can automate that process. You can automate it for the system to do it for you. And then it's up to you. You want a human intervention to say, go for it, approve, or you want to say that, no, I want system to assign it and keep going. Now, the other one is unified dashboard. If you go back, unified dashboard, we spoke about that scalability, collaboration, and data-driven decisions. 74% of the company reported increase in productivity efficiency following ERP implementation. So ERP implementation is bringing efficiency more than ever. Now, let's talk about some of the KPIs that matters in this slide. So planned maintenance versus reactive maintenance ratio. So those dashboards, whatever we spoke about, with asset history and asset details, if we have maintenance workflows over there, we can see asset-wise planned maintenance versus reactive maintenance ratios. We can see our work order completion time by resource or team, because now we are in an integrated system. Preventive maintenance compliance. So we have maintenance checklists, we have maintenance plans. We can see how compliant we are. Is it always that our calibration that we do is higher side on pipes, pipe gauges or stuff? So we can do that as well. Spare parts turnover rate, our total facility management cost. So we can compare different facilities together, because now I can see the entire organization financials together. My total space utilization or space utilization percentage. And last but not the least, total employee turnover, because it might be intangible, but employee turnover brings more training cost, brings more familiarity with your machines and your equipments. So we see these KPIs are a lot impacted, and better decisions if we see those KPIs available to us in one single dashboard as a unified dashboard. Next. All right, so let's talk about a success story. So we take pride in implementing more than 3,000 customers in Velocio. So we implemented ERP for more than 3,000 customers here in US, Canada, Europe, and rest of the parts of the world. One of the success stories which I'm going to share with you is Philips Corporation. So Philips Corporation, a little bit about the organizations. Philips Corporation sells and service industrial machinery used in metalworking and industry operations. The company chooses to modernize their legacy on-prem Microsoft Dynamics solution by upgrading into the cloud environment and also implementing Microsoft Dynamics Field Service. They wanted to have everything in cloud and have field service attached to it. So field service is where your maintenance and schedules and all those are in play. So what did it provide? It provided them real-time insights to performance of the business. It helped Philips make process improvements. So one was their localized process. Every site has their own process. Now they have a global process that they implement, whether it's in Texas or it's in Toronto. So they can have one singular process, and if the user moves from one place to another, they have no issue with it, because it's a globalized, efficient process that everyone is adhering to. They have accuracy in field resources, and what it brought them is they can now experience growth in new ventures and while maintaining the same strong reputation. So they were able to achieve all this, and now they can expand, or they can acquire more businesses or have more ventures or look into more industries to expand furthermore, because their foundation is strong enough to absorb it. Key things that's pointed out over here is increased productivity through streamlined processes, better alignment between finance and operation team, and significant cost saving for asset utilization. In the next slide, this is one of the possibility that Microsoft has worked directly into. This success story is about Mercedes-Benz. I'm going to share with you this video, and this will show you how Microsoft Dynamics and technicians can work together seamlessly. Now, this is the testament of how much you can take the benefit of cutting edge technology if you would hire two leading ERP system which has a connectivity all around. Let's play this video.
Mercedes-Benz has been around for 140 years, and we always strive to deliver the best technology and the best experience to our consumers.
Our technology is advancing how we communicate with our dealers and how we communicate with our technicians.
I think the biggest challenge technicians have now is the complexity of vehicles.
We deal with hundreds of cars every day. Whenever we need help with a vehicle that we can't figure out, we will get assistance from MBUSA. Sometimes it'll take a while to go back and forth between a case because I can't make it to my computer or they're busy with other cases.
Using Dynamics 365 Remote Assist, it's allowing our technicians to be able to service a vast number of dealerships in multiple locations without them having to leave. So we're able to actually cover the country in a much more efficient way, which increases customer satisfaction.
The most important thing is efficiency. We can have an engineer from Germany, we can have an engineer in Jacksonville, having all the support in the world combined at the dealership.
I could just put it on, get immediate support. They can literally point things out to me as I'm looking at it. They could circle it, they could draw lines. It's hands-on, it's literally right there. I could be talking with him, going through the vehicle in real time. It's very intuitive.
It's already a cost savings for us, but it's ultimately a bigger cost savings for the consumer and the dealer.
This is probably one of the single most important inventions that I've seen, the HoloLens. And Dynamics 365 Remote Assist has just been a game changer in this business.
Perfect. So what we saw over here is the advantage of using an ecosystem that invests in the new technology and wants to take advantage of those cutting edge features that are in the market. So another example is if you get involved or implement Microsoft Dynamics 365, you see those co-pilots, those AI features within your same licensing, within your same product itself. You will see those investments coming to you. You will see the advantage of using co-pilots, using agents, using automation. So you don't have to build and invest based on industries, I won't say best practice, acceptable practice, based on industries acceptable practice, because there is a team of, I don't know, 300,000 people who are building this for you in this product as Microsoft organization as itself. So in the next slide, before I move into next slide, there are a couple of questions that I want to answer. One came from Manishika, Manishi. Is there data transfer required to Dynamics 365 from AEC software in operational stage? Yes. So easy answer is yes, because what happens is when you move from software A to software B or ERP1 to ERP2, it depends what do you care about. So if I'm implementing an AEC company, architecture, engineering, or construction company, so I will focus mainly on what is in-flight projects. So there can be projects that has been there for 7 or 8 years long and it's still active. So I will care about that. But there are some projects that are closed, and we have to put a line that how much data we need for the ones that are closed. So maybe 3 years is enough, or 7 years is enough, depending on the practice plus what is the regulation, how much data you need to keep in your ERP. Now, it doesn't mean your previous data is gone. You can choose to keep it archived in some other environment or in a cloud environment, which is aligned with Microsoft Dynamics 365, so that when you run your BI report, you can dig deep into the historical data because you have a data warehouse where you have kept all the data in, plus there is an operational system where the data exists. I hope that answers your question. The next one is, how do agile principles support the facility management decision making? So in facility management, what happens is when we implement system, we want to experiment and see. So there are few things that are foundation, but there are many things that you want to gradually implement and see the output and then move along. The agile approach or methodology allows you to take a breather in between to see or reap the benefits of your phase of implementation, and then make a decision where to invest and where you see more opportunities. Because the technology landscape is changing and improving very quickly. So by the time you will gather that what you need and you implement, things might have more features and more stuff available. So it's better to have an agile approach and go in a short span of time to implement, see, take a breather, get everyone used to with it, because there's a change involved over here. Your organization needs to adapt to this new way of working. Plus, there's a people factor as well. So everyone needs to be trained, understand what are we trying to achieve, and we want to make sure that everyone's happy. We don't want them to be in a bad shape as they were previously. We want their life to be better, so that they have the capacity to get more value out of their role. So that's how the agile principle we use even for facility or any other organization or industry that we work on. Now the next slide over here talks about the entire ecosystem of Microsoft Dynamics 365. So at the top, you see Microsoft 365. So we're talking about the Microsoft Office, which is called modern work. So Microsoft Office, your Microsoft Teams, Visio, and whatnot, and SharePoints for document sharing and all other items. In the center, where it says data intelligence, so data intelligence is rounded off with your biz apps softwares. So some of those softwares are your service, your sales, your operation, your finance, insight, and field service. So I mentioned those ones which I believe that will be related to this group of people, but there's plenty more that is available. And right at the bottom, you see Power Automate. So Power Automate gives you liberty to use Power BI reports or create those BI. And I keep saying that a lot in my previous sessions as well, that any intelligent user who knows how to use Excel and knows how to use lookups and things can use the data of BI and build their own report. As long as the data is there, they can play around and make those reports. So the learning cycle is not that big. Then we have Power Automate. As I spoke about a workflow, you can have that workflow with conditions on it because it's all connected. It's all connected. I can get the data from HR. I can get the data from my scheduling system, and I can work it together, put some conditions, and create that automation for the system. And the third thing in Power Automate, which is worth mentioning, is Power Apps. So technicians, normally I have seen that not all technicians are tech savvy. So we want them to use something very simple, very quick, that they can adopt easily, and we can take the benefit of it as well as an organization. So creating an app like a leave management system. So when somebody applies for the leave, you want to make sure that those leave are reflected in their project, so that the project manager can remove the bookings, and some other things like creating a check those management those planning checklist. So the planning checklist, if the technician is doing a maintenance plan checklist, then they can just look at the checklist and then put the values over there by touching the by the click of a button, so that they don't have to go to a screen on a laptop or update it or a manual sheet and then provide it to a data entry operator. So you can create easily those apps, and there are plenty already available. So you can extend those ones based on what your organization care about, and then make it available for your users. Now, these out of this circle, you'll see these are modern, these are unified softwares, these are intelligent because you can have rapid deployments, you can have quick data migrations, you can scale or have a flexibility over there, and it's adaptable because it's already in Microsoft ecosystem. So if you have used Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, you'll be familiar with the software itself very quickly. Many shortcuts are same: Control P, tabs to change the place. So many of the things are quite similar. Now, one example I want to put over here for flexibility and scalability is F1. So F1 has implemented Microsoft Dynamics 365. So F1 race happens once a year or whenever there's a big event that comes. What they do is, because it's on cloud, they increase the processors. They turn on the server, they do their operations, and they do those that event. And then when the event is completed, closed, they turn it off or lower down the server capacity. So this shows that it's not a fixed price that you have to put in order to get access to your ERP. You can grow, your ERP can grow as your organization grow, and you can have like partitions, like for Canada, you want a different one. For US, you want a different one, and you can merge it together as well to see my global position. So this is the power of using a cloud environment by Microsoft and taking advantage of the ecosystem that we have called Microsoft Dynamics 365. The next one, how we as Velozio can help you guys. So over here in Velozio, we are one-stop shop for Microsoft. So we are Microsoft Dynamics, Microsoft partner, an inner circle partner. And what does it mean that we work with clients for digital transformation, which means if it's an ERP, if it's a cloud assessment, if it's a data migration assessment, or working on a strategy. So we work closely with organization with their 3-year, 5-year, 10-year strategy, work it out how the road plan or the roadmap looks like. We want to know what is the North Star of an organization, and then work along with them. We provide expertise in the license assessment. So as I said, your licensing cost is directly related to the number of users or the data available. So as the data grows, your licensing will grow, but you need to be aware that how your 5 years, 10 years is going to look like, so that you have a chance in the game, knowing that as it grows, this is the cost that I should expect. And then Power Platform, I spoke about that. We do create Power Platform, Power BI reports, and enhance whatever is available provided by Microsoft. We do Power Automate and Power BI, and of course Copilot agents. We hold expertise in many different industries: AEC industry, architecture, engineering industries, manufacturing, distribution, finance. Some of the ones that worth mentioning over here. And as I said, industry-specific configuration and deployments. So it's not just about best practice, but industry acceptable practice. I cannot ask a technician to go open his laptop and work on the timesheets. I want to make it easy, so apps are there because that's the industry acceptable practice. And last but not the least, we don't just implement and leave you or the organization over there. We are there to support, and not just support in the sense of hourly support on any downfall, but also doing the health checks of your existing system or the new system that you have done. Also doing the data migration if you have 3 different systems and you want to slowly, gradually implement that. We also do assessments and the change management assessments. So we normally ERP implementations neglect the people side of things. So change management is essential. We don't want big changes in an organization in one single bang. So how can we absorb and take advantage of the change that the organization is going without getting frustrated and get high employee turnover? And last but not least, our development services and reporting and analysis. So we do provide development services for, let's say, a little feature that you need on top of your scheduling, or in your checklist you want to have calibration system directly providing values in the system so that nobody has to type it in. And reporting and analysis is just creating those BI reports or static reports that can be sent to your management on a weekly, every Monday, or occupancy rate or whatnot, that you can get built pretty easily. All right, Ted, I guess you're next.
Yeah, that was great. A lot of good insights there. Appreciate your expertise. Before we jump into Q&A, I think there are a couple things we wanted to offer the participants. If we could go to the next slide, Jack, that'd be great. There we go. Always like to give out digital candy. I think this is a really good resource guide. You can go ahead and scan the QR code, download a copy of Leading with Purpose, Boosting Profitability and Growth with Data-Driven Insights. I think we might have on the slide there as well a URL, but just leave that up for a moment. I would take advantage of that. I just downloaded it. I'm going to read it this afternoon. Thanks for that, Jack. Next slide, please. Take advantage of Velocio's expertise. Book a 30-minute session to kind of help assess where you're at and what you could possibly do in your organization to improve efficiencies. I'll just leave that up for another few seconds, but would strongly advise taking advantage of that. So does this mean they'll get to actually talk to you, Amir, or is it anybody on the team that might be involved?
Oh, there will be team involved for these strategy sessions, and as you connect, we will know better about the organization and what they are looking for, so that we can bring the best of our skill forward.
Excellent. So I know we've got just a few minutes left. We've got a handful of, I think, really good questions we haven't covered yet. One that popped up in the chat that I saw is tied to facility condition assessments. How can an organization tie in performing a facility condition assessment to Dynamics 365?
Sorry, can you come again? Facility condition assessments?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is that there's in Dynamics 365, you can have those assessments or plans created for those assessments. And assessment is not just based on the tools. It's all it's your physical assessment, your tool-based assessment, or output-based assessment as well. So think of it like visually how it looks like. There can be rust or something, nuts, bolts losing off, or it needs to have oil or something changed. So you can have those physical assessments. You can have output-based assessment as well. That what happens if I do a sample of this many products? What is the output? Is it the quality that we want, or is the quality is going down because I have a history of last 10 production cycles that I've done? So how the efficiency and wastages are going towards. So we can do all these and even more in Dynamics 365. I hope that answers.
It does. I think, if someone's interested in learning more, then they should definitely reach out and get in touch. Next question up, Samuel. I think this is a really good one. For corrective maintenance purposes, is there a way the app could be installed for clients or tenants to log faults or issues for the maintenance team to work on?
That's a really valid question, Samuel. And this is pretty common, actually. When you work with contracting technicians or vendors, you want those apps to be sent across to vendors, or they have the visibility to do the activity. So it's very common. It's available. You can do that. You can have without compromising your security, your data security or anything, because you will give an external email access to your software. And once they are in, you can track the IP location and whatnot in order to make sure that it's within the grounds that you want it to be.
Very good, thank you. Let's see here. Where to go? I'm going to throw out the one that I always kind of like is what are the biggest challenges businesses face during implementation, and how do you deal with that? How do you address that?
That's all right. That's a big question, actually, but I'll try. So when we do an implementation, we show organizations the possibility that they might not be aware of. And what organizations try to do is try to implement all at once, and that's where the consultancy from our side comes in. So we have to make sure that, number one, we are stable enough with what we have already got, so we are not losing anything. And then we need to gradually enhance and take advantage of those features and functions that can bring more value. So plus, we have to make sure we don't neglect the people side of things. So change is difficult. So we need to make sure that it's not a big of a change or big of a switch for your people in the organization who have been there for 10 years, 12 years, or even 3 years to get trained and adopt to the new technology. Right? We want it smooth so that our business as usual doesn't get impacted. And that's where the phased approach, and if during our strategy session, we can talk about what we propose, our phased approach comes in play.
Excellent. Again, if you have more questions and want a kind of a deeper answer to that question, definitely reach out. I'm going to jump into we've got a couple of questions on AI. I'm going to try to pick the most interesting one here. Is what are some practical ways to start incorporating AI into your operations or into operations for a customer?
Yeah, so I would suggest that when there are many tools available for AI, but you need to identify what are your KPIs and what matters to you, your industry the most. So if I'm looking at facility management, I want to make sure that how can I see different types of machinery that I use and their competitors, their life of service, and their maintenance amounts and things. These are facts, but I want to see how my experience is going to be. I want to see how the international politics going to impact me. Example, if I'm getting wood from a different country that can get a tariff, then how it's going to impact my business? What are the alternatives do I have? So AI will give you advantage over just your internal data. It will give you exposure to your external political situation, your interest rates, and whatnot. And it will give you a holistic view, which normally organization research or consider by themselves.
Very good. I want to really thank you for your insights today, Amir, and thank everybody for joining us on this session.
Thank you.
If you haven't clicked on one of the QR codes, definitely do that. I believe that there will be a link to the recorded version shared. So if someone else in your organization would like to take advantage of the content, we can certainly do that as well. As always, without the support of the staff behind the scenes, we wouldn't have this great production value. So thank you very much, Jack and Cassandra.
Thank you, everyone.